Hey guys, welcome to week 3. So this week you're going to focus on what to do next after you've collected your numerical data. So anytime you have data that you've collected, specifically numerical data, how do we summarize what's going on in our data? So there are different things that we can calculate to describe or summarize what's going on with our data. So we're going to focus specifically on measures of center, such as calculating the sample mean. And then once you calculate a sample mean from your sample data, you want to also calculate how much variation there is in your data, because anytime you take a sample, right, it's a random sample, right, it could vary from the mean from sample to sample. So measures of variation is another sample statistics that we use to summarize data. And again, it measures how much your data varies from the mean value that you've calculated. And then the last thing that we're going to take a look at is what we call measures of relative standing, which is when you start calculating z-scores. So what a z-score does is it tells you, right, how far away a typical value from your sample data, how far away it is from the mean. So it's also a measure of variation. And the reason why we like to calculate z-scores is because oftentimes when we are comparing two different data sets that have completely different measures of center, we can talk about how much a particular value varies from the mean if we can standardize it and not look at the actual units, but just see how far away a value deviates from the mean value. And this will also come into play later on when we start calculating some probabilities. So please watch the videos for this week. I'll show you how to use your calculator. So even though there are beautiful formulas that you can use to calculate the mean and the standard deviations, these formulas and calculations can be very tedious, especially if you have a sample that is very large. And so learn how to use technology like your calculator or StatCrunch, and have the calculator or StatCrunch calculate the mean and the standard deviation for you so that you can focus on interpreting those results and talking about what they mean in the context of the problem. Okay, so I encourage you to use your calculator. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and then also start thinking about who you might want to work with for your first group project. So I'll be sending out an email later in the week to talk about the first group assignment. Okay guys, have a great week.